It's the One Man Show.
You are now tuned in to the One Man Show. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. One Man Show. You are watching the One Man Show. Ooh, One Man Show.
One man. I've been walking down this road for a few minutes now, and the volume of traffic is just nuts. So, what we're going to talk about today, it's not going to be a long one, personally, because I've got a bit of difficulty breathing this morning. Test's a bit shite. It is, yes, you're right. But we're going to talk about responsibility. Responsibility. Who really likes having responsibility? Well, hardly anybody. But if you have the ability, what's your response going to be? You see, I have a responsibility for my happiness. Do I have the ability? Damn right I do. What's my response? At times, I feel sorry for myself. And I want others to feel sorry for me. But nobody else gives a shit. Do you have the ability to make you happy? Of course you do. But what's your response? Well, your response could be something like, can't be bothered. That's somebody else's job. You see, when my son was born, it was my responsibility I'm just going to have a sit here. Whew. On my chair. When my son was born, it was my responsibility to look after him. He couldn't do it for himself. Yeah, his mother played a part as well. Even though my boobs were big, I couldn't produce the nutrients that he required. Things took a turn for the worse, and we ended up splitting up, and I moved away. And I made two pacts with myself. One, it was my responsibility to never let another woman break my heart like she did. Never to let another woman have control of that beating thing in my chest, where they can rip it out, tear it into shreds, then dance all over it. And now, some 17 years later, I still have that responsibility to me. Do I have the ability to stop my heart being broken? Well, kind of. What's my response? I'm not going to let anybody close enough to try. That's my responsibility to me. My other responsibility that I swore that I would do is I would not let my boy down. It was my responsibility to be there, to make sure that when it was eventually arranged, we had to go to court for it, mind, that I would see him every other weekend, because I thought that was fair, that he would be with me every other weekend. It was my responsibility to make sure I was there. Did I have the ability to be there? Damn right I did. What was my response? I will be there. So it's very easy for people to walk away from their responsibilities. But I still have that response. I still have that ability. I still have that responsibility. That if Kieran asks for my help, if I have the ability, then my response will be, I'm on my way. But we also have a responsibility to ourselves, that we have to be as happy as we can be in the environment that we find ourselves in. Do we have the ability to move environment? I would say so. What's your response going to be? You see, it's very easy again to pass that responsibility on to somebody else. There is only one person in the world who's responsible for your happiness. You. Do you have the ability to be happy, and what's your response going to be? It's your responsibility to be a fantastic father, if you're lucky enough to be one. To be a fantastic lover, if that flicks your switch. To be a brilliant brother, to be a brilliant sister, to be a brilliant uncle. Your responsibility to be fabulous at work. Do it to the best of your ability. And what's your response going to be? Well, I know what most people's response is. I hate my job. So what's other people's response going to be if that's how you react? If you have the ability, what's your response going to be? Because it is your and only your responsibility to be who you want to be. You can't put that responsibility onto anybody else. Just look at these. Look at those gorgeous flowers. Oh God, I love nature. Absolutely bloody love nature. So that's the thoughts for today. Do you have the ability, and what's your response going to be? What's your responsibility? Interesting, isn't it? When you consider it's nobody else's job. If you're married, you've got a lover. If you live on your own, if you're travelling around the world, there is nobody else responsible for what you do, what you want to do, where you live, where you work, where you walk, where you ride, where you drive. And it's when you put that responsibility onto somebody else, that's when you become unhappy. Because they don't know what you really want. They aren't responsible for your happiness. Turn it on its head. Make yourself responsible. Be happy. Be the best brother. Be the best sister. Be the greatest dad in the world. And your life will change forever. So until the next time, bye-bye for now.
You are watching the One Man Show. Ooh.